where we fail as a country, because there's this whole division, whether it's race, economical, success, gender, you know, the whole idea of something being better than something else is. Good morning, family. Good morning, good morning. Let's see, am I in focus? Whew, y'all, I'm gonna sit and do a Tuesday talk, a chat this morning while I eat my breakfast, my hotel breakfast. I got a bagel and a like an egg scramble bowl. So I wanted to sit and do a talk, and I wanted to talk about this whole great resignation that, you know, everybody has been talking about. I think more so talking about it in 2021, but you know, it's still a thing. And so I wanted to talk about it from a business owner's perspective, from an employer's perspective, because clearly nobody's talking about it from that perspective and that angle. And so I want to kind of start this video out with a disclaimer. I don't feel like anybody should work in a hostile environment, in a toxic environment. I don't feel like anybody should do a job that they are unfulfilled with, that they are completely unhappy with, that is hurting their mental state, that is making them physically sick, or any of those things. I mean, I wrote a book about it. I wrote a book about living your authentic and organic life. So by no means do I feel like anybody should be working a job, you know, anywhere or for anybody just for the sake of getting a check or loyalties or, you know, whatever the case may be. I definitely do not feel like that. I am a person that I've had so many jobs in my life, y'all. Like, I did janitorial work at a rest stop. So that tells you like the kind of jobs I've done. I put air filters, the little filter things, on air conditioning filters. Like, I have worked. So this isn't coming from like, you know, oh, you own a business or whatever. I've had a job since I was 14 and have literally worked. And yes, I had a period of time where I stayed home with my kids, but even then I did photography. I am a life coach. I had a private practice. Like, I've always done something. So from, like I said, cleaning toilets at a rest stop to now being a business owner. So I am not saying that anybody should again be in a toxic environment. So now that we have that little disclaimer out the way, where shall we start? This isn't going to be a structured kind of video, so I think I want to start with, why are people quitting? You know, I hear people say they worked in a toxic or hostile environment. And even when I do interviews, that's usually what people say in their interview when they're applying. They're like, oh, I left because it was toxic or it was hostile or my mental state. And when I ask them to elaborate, when I say, you know, okay, toxic and hostile environments is different for everybody. Everybody's tolerance is different. My tolerance is going to be different from your tolerance. And so explain to me what a hostile environment looks like for you, because you might be walking into a hostile environment again. If a hostile environment looks like working with kids all day, then you're going to feel like you're in a hostile environment Again, if a hostile or toxic environment or something that is, affecting your mental state is talking to people, doing customer service, then you're going to be in a hostile and toxic environment. Again, your mental state is going to be affected again. So I ask people that, what did that look like? And I'm telling y'all, 85% of them cannot define or give me real true examples of what the toxic or hostile environment was, or how their previous job was affecting their mental state. It's usually something very generic, like, oh, my manager, was a jerk, or the people were full of drama. It was so much drama and I just couldn't deal with it. It's usually those kind of things. And if I'm being 100% honest, wherever you go in life, there's going to be drama. Wherever you go in life, you're going to deal with jerks. Even if you become an entrepreneur, there's just no way that you can escape dealing with people, drama, and jerks. There's just no way. You're a truck driver, you don't have to deal with anybody, but there's going to be jerks on the road, right? There's going to be drama that happens on the road. I mean, I don't know, maybe y'all could list a job that you won't have any drama or have to deal with any type of jerks. So when I hear that, I'm like, okay, interesting. So why are people leaving? Are people really leaving because they were in toxic and hostile environments? Are people really leaving because they had total job dissatisfaction? Are people really leaving because their mental health was being affected by working at that job? Or, and y'all probably not gonna like this next statement, are people leaving because they're just lazy? Is that just what it is? Did 2020 open up Pandora's box of revealing the laziness of people? Is that a reason? Is that one of the real reasons? Is the other reason people leaving because as a society we have driven the idea and the fact into people's head that you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, this top tier, a business owner, like go to college, get a degree, get a good job mentality, that people think, and key word here, think or believe that they have job satisfaction because they're not up here. But in reality, if they weren't seeking what society has told them they need to be successful, would these people really be okay and happy and have job satisfaction if they were not striving for success that society has called success? I believe a lot of it is that. A lot of it is, I'm not happy with being the janitor because I should, society says being a janitor is looked at as bad. And it's like, says who? And I did a video, so I'm not going to go into this topic too much because I did a whole video over this topic and I'll leave it linked for you guys. So that's my first question. Why are people really leaving? Why are people uprooting their jobs? And so, then there's the whole discussion of fair pay, right? And before I even owned the business, you guys, I had my thoughts on this. So while I don't, and again, this is probably gonna prick some hairs on people. Well, I don't feel like any job should be discriminated against. I feel like any person that is working that is trying to provide for themselves, for their family, that is happy, that are being productive citizens, that they're productive humans, not citizens like US citizens, but productive humans, that are being kind, that are not affecting any other person. Like, I feel like they should be respected and treated with respect and treated with kindness and not looked down on. So I believe that. But there's a flip side to that. When it comes to job pay, there is a level of skill set that should come with the amount of pay that you are receiving. So if someone goes to, school, to whatever school, 2-year, 4-year, 1-year, trade school, whatever, and they complete something, right? They do this thing for 4 years, they further their knowledge, or they gain a skill that I cannot do. So I cannot get up on a ladder and rewire the electricity. That's a skill that I don't have. So because that person has that skill and has took the road to gain that skill, that person should be paid more for having that skill. So putting ketchup on a hamburger and a bun does not require a skill, right? Again, I'm not saying that if you do that, you should not be respected, treated with kindness, treated equally, treated fairly. But the reality is that job does not require a skill. I can walk in today and do that job. So for me to think that I should get paid the same amount as somebody that can go up on a ladder and rewire this entire building is astronomical. It just doesn't make sense. And let's just be realistic here. These jobs, these type of jobs, were designed initially for high schoolers. My very first job was working at McDonald's. And I think I was getting paid $4.55. That was minimum wage back then. I'm probably telling my age. But that was what that job was designed for. I was a high schooler. I lived with my parents. I didn't have any bills. Me making that kind of money was like, I'm rich. I'm rich. So, it wasn't designed for an adult to do that job and to sustain and take care of a family. And I understand that somehow, some way, I don't know, I'm not economist. Again, I don't have that skill set. So I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend I know how the society has shifted to now where adults who have to take care of families are working those kind of jobs. And so I understand living wage and I understand where we are as a society, but let's go even deeper into this whole living wage. And again, this whole video probably gonna ruffle some feathers, and I'm sorry, y'all. There was a Chipotle that's offering $28 an hour. $28 an hour to work at Chipotle. So if you're going to pay somebody that amount of money to work at fast food, the least I want is when I come through the drive-thru or I walk through the door for that person to say, "Hi, welcome to whatever, how can I help you?" The bare minimum, okay? And, the argument is, well, if these jobs offer more, then they can get people like that. Okay, let's just talk real honesty. That's what we're doing right now, right? How many of you have a college degree and would go work at Walmart if Walmart was paying $100,000? How many people would be okay? And I have a 4-year degree. If you ask me, maybe 5% of people, maybe. It goes back again to us being these title-driven society and associating what we do with our value and our worth. And so Walmart could today start offering $100,000 trying to get quality, and I say quality people, and they wouldn't come, because how many people want to say they work at Walmart? Because the stigma that comes along with working at Walmart. So there's that catch-22. Going back to my initial point, if you pay people these dollars, this dollar amount, the least they should be able to do is say, hi, welcome, and not look like I am interrupting their day and I am an inconvenience because I walked into this establishment to place an order. I mean, I'm in the South. I don't know, where are you? If you aren't experienced in this, I would love to know where you are and what that looks like. And so I think it's not so much about the pay as it is just about how people feel about themselves and how they value themselves and their worth, and you know what they like, what they feel inside. It's like you could pay this person top, because that's what we're seeing now, right? We are seeing companies throw out money trying to get people to come back to work. I mean, literally throwing out money, and people still don't want to work, or the people that do come in don't want to be there. And it's like, they said if we pay more, that people would have job satisfaction, living wages, people would be happier. But that's not the truth. It has nothing to do with the dollar amount. It's what's within you and within the people, and what we as a society calls value and success. So there's that whole factor. And so we're going back to the wages and inflation, because that's a thing now. And everybody is flying around, you know, like, oh, inflation. But what did people think was going to happen if if Chipotle had to start paying somebody $28 an hour, y'all, to come in and put a bowl like this together that doesn't require a skill per se? And this bowl was originally only $8, right? So I need to sell, let's just do the math here. I need to sell at least 4 of these bowls an hour to pay my employee for that hour, and maybe to cover the food costs. So I need to sell 4 bowls to pay the employee to cover the food costs. Those 4 bowls did not cover the electricity, the water, the equipment, the taxes, because there's taxes on taxes, the drinks, the cups, the stuff that, you know, the bowls, the forks, the napkins, the tissue, all that, the condiments, like all that there is to go into that, right? So how can I keep my bowl at $8 and pay $28 and still stay open? Like, did anybody do this math? Is it just me? I don't know. So of course there's going to be a level of inflation, because I have to keep the lights on. Like, I have to. There is just no other way. So there's that part. And not to mention, Not to mention, I'm paying this, right? But there's this whole great resignation. So now I'm paying $28 an hour, but I'm still not drawing people in, even paying that amount. So now I'm still short staffed, still paying this big dollar amount. And because I'm short staffed, I'm losing customers because I gotta close early. People are frustrated because when they come in, the service is slower or whatever. Then there's this whole distribution issue. It is a big picture. Because again, if people are leaving their jobs, who's emptying the crates? Who's driving the trucks? Like there is a huge domino effect to this thing, y'all. So there's that part. And I don't even know how I'm putting all this video together because I'm just all over the place. And I gotta finish it up because I had to open in a few minutes. How does this whole great resignation affect us? I'm here in Alabama. I've been here for 3 weeks. I probably will be here for another 2 weeks at least. And it is because people are just quitting their jobs because YouTube is telling them to quit their jobs. And the reality is that everybody could quit their job. Great. And everybody could go out and be an entrepreneur. Great. But who's going to work for you? Who's going to work for you? How are you going to maintain your business? How are you going to stay afloat if everybody's quitting their job? If everybody's trying to be an entrepreneur? If everybody's trying to be a business owner? Who's going to run these businesses? These are the questions that we have to ask ourselves as we quit your job. Like who? Okay, yes, quit your job if you're really unsatisfied. But then who's going to work for you? Everybody is not designed to be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not designed to be a leader. Everybody's not designed to own a business. There are Indians, there are chiefs, there are leaders, there are followers. That's just how we're built. Everybody doesn't want to be a leader. Everybody doesn't want to be a chief. Everybody doesn't want to own a business. Everybody doesn't want to be a YouTuber. Everybody doesn't want to be a doctor. There are some people that just want to be a janitor. That's what they want to do. There are some people that just want to stay home and get a check. That's what they want to do. There are some people that are okay with working at McDonald's for the rest of their lives. There are some people that believe in staying with a company and climbing the ladder slowly but surely. There are some people that are perfectly fine with just selling door to door. And that is okay. There are some people who don't want to make thousands and millions of dollars. They are okay. They are okay with living a simple life. They are okay. They are happy. And it is not until somebody comes in their ear and says, "Man, you should quit that job. I couldn't work that job. I couldn't do that. I would have to get paid more. I would be okay, well, that's you. And you aren't doing it, so that's great. Like, why are we making people feel less than and like they are in these toxic and hostile environments because they're not doing something that somebody deems as glorified work? Like, how? I just don't understand that. And are we thinking about this long-term domino effect of this whole, you shouldn't be working there, you shouldn't do that. And again, I want to go back to my original statement. If it is hostile, then absolutely not, you should not be working there. But again, let's talk about what is really hostile and what that looks like. So for us as business owners, because I've worked, y'all, I've worked, like I said, I've worked. And so because I've had every type of manager, all different kinds of jobs, I've been a server, I worked in retail, I worked as customer service representative. Because of that, when I started this business and became an employer, I knew what kind of employer I wanted to be. I knew what kind of employer and manager and boss and company I thrived under. And I pulled bits and pieces of all of that to make our company handbook and our missions and our purpose and our values. And despite all of that, it is still a struggle. It is still a struggle. And what this has told me is that you have to find people that are genuinely happy within, that value themselves, that don't connect their value to their job, that don't connect their value to their title, that they value themselves within, and then they are going to love their job when they are placed in a healthy job environment. And also, I'm just realizing from the business perspective that when you're an employee, and it's kind of like being a server, right? If you've never been a server, if you've never waited tables, you have no idea. You have no idea. And yet people will sit at a table and leave $1 tip or no tip, or shake their glass, or hey, or leave the table a disaster, or sit at a table for hours on hours when there's a wait, because they have no idea. And they will say things like, well, nobody told them to come work here and get paid $2 an hour. Stuff like that. And it's like, what? And so when you are an employee, which I've been, and you've never ran a business, it's okay. You don't understand. You sit here and you're like, well, and I would do it, and I would quit, and I would and it's like, you have no idea what this side of the world is like. So you can't necessarily give your, I mean, you can give your opinion. We are all allowed to have that, but you cannot state your opinion as though they are facts, because you don't really understand what that side is. And so for me, now that I'm on this side, I'm able to take a step back and be like, well, that's why you pay that amount. I get it now. You know, I'm able to just understand policies and why when I walk into a company and they're like, this is the policy, I'm not that person that's going to argue back or fight back, because somebody must have did that. So I get it. I understand. I'm not going to yell at the cashier, who I very well know does not make the policies. Like, they're not running this ship. So why am I screaming and yelling at somebody that did not make this rule and has zero jurisdiction to change this rule? Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have just a different perspective. And so, yeah, so this whole great resignation, it's like everybody's out here, rah, rah, quit your job, blah, blah, you know. And it's like, okay, from the employee side, I've worked trashy jobs, I've worked for horrible companies, I've worked for terrible people. So yes, if you're in a hostile, toxic environment, your mental health is being affected, your physical health is being affected, you're not in your zone of genius, all of these things, yes, you need to find something else to do. But on the flip side, what are these companies going to do? Can you really cry when you go to your local restaurant and they're closed? Okay, y'all, I'm sitting in my car in the drive-through. I'm turning this air down to get some food, and I thought, let me try to end this vlog before I like get on the road to go home. I'm going home. But I essentially just wanted to end by saying that, you know, this whole great resignation has greater ripples and effects than most of us can even understand or see. And so I think that as a community, we need to start talking about what is true job satisfaction, what is a true hostile work environment, what is a true toxic work environment, and talking openly about mental health and like how is it affected, and what is truly affecting your mental health, and all of those things. And then on top of that, taking it even a step further and talking to businesses and business owners and understanding what their needs are and how can maybe they create more healthy work environments to make people have job satisfaction. And so essentially closing the gap on communication, you know, closing the gap on separating, and, you know, the whole great divide. And I feel like that's where we fail as a country, because there's this whole division, whether it's race, economical, success, gender, you know, the whole idea of something being better than something else is where the issue really is and where the issue really lies. And so until we have a level of like respect for all people, no matter what they do, no matter what their gender is, no matter any of that, and until we redefine success and redefine what success looks like, there's gonna always be this level of job dissatisfaction and what people deem as a hostile environment, but it really isn't a hostile environment, if that even makes sense. So I think for me, with the whole great resignation, you know, as a business owner, it's a little scary because, you know, we're in a place where we are struggling to find employees. We're struggling to find team members, and on top of just find team members, but good quality people who want to be there and who enjoy their job, you know. And it doesn't matter how much money we throw out, you guys, because we've tried. When people say, well, maybe if you pay more, this wouldn't be an issue. That's not true. We've tried that. And so it's not even that at this point. And it's like, how much money can we throw out before we have to jump on the inflation boat? Because at the end of the day, we still got to pay other bills, you know, and we're not making billions and billions of dollars. So yeah, it's very, very scary for a small business owner. For us, you know, we're growing, but we're small, and it's scary because it becomes, how can we sustain and how can we continue to grow if we don't have good people behind us? Like, how do we do that? So how do small businesses now become large corporations and sustain when everybody is like, 3 reasons why you should quit your job, 10 reasons why you should quit your job? And it's like, how does a business grow? Like, how is anything going to grow if nobody wants to work? So that's my whole thing, you know, with this great resignation. And it is definitely a scary place to be in. And I know that eventually everything will kind of smooth itself back out, but I guess for us, it's like, now we got to survive the great resignation. We survived, y'all, now I'm blown out. Let's see if I go over here. Nope, that doesn't work. We survived the pandemic, thank God, and now we got to survive the great resignation. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So in short, you guys, in short, before you know, encourage somebody to, you should quit your job, you should talk deeper about what it is that they are seeking and really try to gain an understanding of what is going on internally with them. That's number one. And before you say companies need to just pay more money, I think maybe you should take a step back and try to understand all that goes into running a business, and maybe understanding that. And then I think also when you go into a business and you're face to face with an employee, treat them with kindness, because a lot of times dealing with customers is what make people have job unsatisfaction. So treating people with kindness, not just looking down on them. You know, when you see that janitor cleaning, thanking them for cleaning, because without them you would be using a filthy bathroom. So thanking them for that service, thanking people, understanding that employees don't make policies and that policies are in place for a reason. No matter how dumb or stupid you might think they are, they're there for a reason. And just being kind, like just be kind to everybody. So that is my takeaway. That's the video in short, you guys. And I hope that I wasn't all over the place and that this made sense. Yeah, y'all tell me what y'all think about this whole Great Resignation. I would love to hear y'all thoughts. Thank y'all for hanging in there for this non-traditional Tuesday chat. I would love to hear y'all thoughts. I love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging in there with me. If you're still here and you're not part of the family, then let's make this official by hitting the subscribe button and joining the family. To the rest of my non-traditional family, you guys are the MVPs. Y'all are the MVPs. Y'all know why y'all the MVPs. Y'all already know. I don't even have to tell you why you're the MVP. I love y'all, and I will see y'all hopefully very soon. Love y'all. Bye.